Why I'm concerned about the weather patterns setting up in parts of our area for the week ahead. Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Okay, hi friends, welcome back to Meteo Mundo. Rusty with you here. It's great to see you on a Wednesday. Of course, we're your home for Caribbean weather, and fantastic to join us again. Hope you're doing well. Coming up in this video, we're going to talk about some areas that are still going to get a lot of rain and potential flooding conditions over the next several days. It's been a very windy day for a lot of you. We've had rough sea conditions again, and we've had some cool and some drier air moving in. As always, I'd love to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comment section below what's been happening in your area. First of all, we'll get into the numbers on the screen, which are your current temperatures, and we'll talk about the wind gusts, but we'll look at the overall surface analysis to kind of dive into what we've been seeing across our area on this Wednesday. Still have two cold fronts that have worked their way as far south as the Dominican Republic and Haiti. Now, along that boundary, we're actually getting some heavy rain to develop on the northern coastlines of Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Wedged in between is some drier air, but extremely windy conditions through portions of Cuba, back into the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, and into the western side of the Caribbean, where we still have a lot of heavy rain. Easterly winds in the lesser Antilles have thrown about a few showers, but obviously very high surf and sea conditions as well. And this boundary has brought temperatures way down in the northern side of the Bahamas. These are your current air temperatures in Fahrenheit. For reference, 80 degrees Fahrenheit is 27 degrees Celsius. And you see a lot of areas below that, especially in our northwest areas. Take a look at some of these values. First of all, Freeport, Grand Bahama right now at 68 degrees. That's just 20 degrees Celsius. I mean, it is a beautiful, dry, kind of a cool day there for our friends in the northwest and northern Bahamas, even the central Bahamas. You can see all of that red is the dry air here on the water vapor imagery. You got to get back down towards the far southeast Bahamas and then portions of the Turks and the Caicos for just a little bit of moisture to be streaming back in. Temperatures there are only in the upper 70s. And again, a lot of our area, northern sides, upper 70s to lower 80s, below 27 degrees Celsius. Temperatures have been a little bit warmer with some drier air in the lesser Antilles. And then we've had some excessive rainfall here, again, skirting the coastline of portions of Central America. When I bring on the wind gusts and go back over to the enhanced satellite imagery, you can see the churned up conditions. First of all, from the southern sides of Cuba, Santiago de Cuba, to portions of the Cayman Islands, they've had 25, 30, and 35-mile-an-hour winds. We've had some breezy conditions over portions of Jamaica as well. Those are going to be strong, mainly northeast winds, as you can see here coming out of the Little Cayman area there, northeast wind that is quite steady. Also, some very heavy rainfall beginning to develop through portions of the Costa Rica, Nicaragua, and then back towards the Honduras coastlines. And it's not just rain, there's a fair amount of lightning that's developing here as well. This entire area is going to be a prolonged rain event for a lot of Central America. We'll break down how this is going to play out over the next several days, but this moisture field is just slowly moving north and west. So it's going to get deeper into Nicaragua and Honduras, and then head towards Guatemala, Belize, and the southern sides of Quintana Roo. Seeing a few showers developing through portions of, again, the Dominican Republic and Haiti, but especially on the northern sides. I'm going to switch over to the visible satellite imagery. You might be able to see it just a little bit clearer here. You're going to see a little bit thicker cloud coverage on the far northern sides. Once this hopefully loops up, might take just a second to do that, but we actually have some excessive rainfall potential for portions of the northern side of the island, and you can clearly see that. If you notice that on this visible satellite imagery, again, you have some clouds that are sticking right around, but these clouds are moving in different directions. That's what's happening in between our two frontal boundaries, and it's producing a lot of lift in the atmosphere. So from Puerto Plata down towards Santiago de los Caballeros, but certainly skirting the coastline back to the Samana Peninsula, we could see some excessive rainfall for today. Some areas 25 to 75 millimeters or 1 to 3 inches. You live in this area, let me know what's been happening. Now, before the rain set in, Raymond sent me this beautiful shot from the Samana Peninsula there, the Dominican Republic, the town of Las Terrenas, Portillo Beach. Gorgeous winter day, behind our hurricane season here. But again, this area's got some heavier rain, but I appreciate Raymond sending in that lovely photo. Again, obviously we want to see the active weather here at Meteo Mundo, but you want to send me a beautiful shot like that, I'll certainly appreciate that as well. We've had some breezy conditions through portions of Puerto Rico, also getting a little bit of rain at the hour as well. Winds have been easily 20 to 25 miles an hour from time to time. This is the live radar out of Puerto Rico, noting some heavier rain in the central and the kind of west central sides of the island from Uti Alto, trying to kind of develop towards San Sebastian, headed towards Mayagüez and the Aguadilla areas as well. And again, just pockets of heavier rain across the Moda Passage, and then some of that's going to try and get back towards the Punta Cana area as well. We can almost see some of that rain up the northeast coastline of the Dominican Republic towards Samana. It's actually been a little bit drier farther east. Can't rule out a couple of isolated showers for the U.S. and British Virgin Islands for today, but generally speaking, we've actually had some relatively nice conditions there, although seas continue to be very churned up. Back over to right-hand satellite imagery, put this back into motion. And again, fair conditions for the most part through the Lesser Antilles for today. We've had pockets of a little bit of rain. You can see some of the thicker cloud coverage here in the visible satellite imagery. And again, it's mainly been about the sea conditions where we've had some marine advisories for portions of the Leeward Islands, through portions of Barbados, and then Trinidad and Tobago as well. Other areas, and you can see Grenada even had a nice little 30-mile-an-hour wind. ABC Islands have been quiet, relatively speaking, for today. If you caught a shower there, let me know. But this is an area that I do expect there to be some active weather coming up. And we'll talk about that in just a second. As we get into the forecast, again, appreciate you guys joining me here in this early December day. Thank you for liking the video. If you haven't subscribed to Meteo Mundo, you want these forecasts across the Caribbean and the Bahamas, of course, any tropical updates, still December, still keeping a close eye on it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. Appreciate you sharing this with your family and friends as well, and also other ways to support the channel. And again, just like Raymond, you want to send me a picture or video to use, mymeteomundo@gmail.com. That's the easiest way to do it. Just take that photo, take that video, make sure you put your name, where you're taking that photo or video from, and if you give me a specific day, that's great as well. Send it to me again, mymeteomundo@gmail.com. Okay, now we're going to get into the forecast. And I mentioned how there is a particular area that I'm really concerned about the pattern and how I think this is going to play out over the next several days, and it is back into the western sides of the Caribbean. Okay, now look, we're going to get some rain for Jamaica. We're going to get some rain for the Cayman Islands, but it's going to be more scattered kind of farther north and east. My friends in Kingston and Negril and Portmore and Spanish Town and Grand Cayman. But again, with our broad Central American gyre in this area of moisture that's not moving much, we are going to see the opportunity for some excessive rainfall, especially along the Caribbean coastlines of Costa Rica and Nicaragua and Honduras, and potentially even towards Guatemala and Belize. Now, if I put on the water vapor imagery, you notice that there's still some drier air here, but the moisture-laden air is beginning to move up and overtake it. And you could also see actually an anticyclone developing at the upper levels of the atmosphere, which is allowing there to be a lot of lift. There's just broad lift and enhancement here in the Western Caribbean, and some of that has skirted back into some of the areas that I mentioned with some of the rain as that moisture funnels along those frontal boundaries that we talked about. But this is the big area for the opportunity for a lot more rain. And again, relatively speaking, in early December, that's a good cluster of thunderstorms sitting off of the Honduras coastline right now. So let me show you how this is going to break out. And I've got your island by island rainfall forecast. We'll take a look at everyone's forecast here over the next several days. So let's start off with how this is going to play out here, at least through, we'll say into our weekend, right? Again, we're going to see this cluster of rain begin to spiral more inland. Now, I know a lot of it's offshore right now, but in pieces, it's going to start to drive deeper into Central America. And again, the areas I'm concerned about most are Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, potentially Guatemala, and Belize. The farther north that you go, you run into the drier air and rainfall totals should be lower. But there's a ton of available moisture in this area right here, and this is going to spin in. It's not just going to be the Caribbean coastline, but eventually it's going to be all of the areas. So places like Managua and Tegucigalpa could get some extremely heavy rainfall. Can't rule out La Ceiba and San Pedro Sula and the Bay Islands, Utila, Roatan, Guanaja, with the opportunity again for more rain to move back in. It's been very fresh winds in these areas, just been a very active pattern here. When we look at the rainfall total potential coming up, you're going to see some of these excessive amounts that I'm talking about here, okay? This is actually the NAM model. If I switch over to the GFS to give you an idea of a little bit of a difference here, I'm going to take this out just a little bit farther, not much further, but you get the idea that both models really hold on to the solution that there is a big cluster of rain and a few storms that isn't going to be moving very quickly, all right? Can you just go back to Tropical Storm Sarah, right? This isn't a tropical system. This is some tropical moisture, and this is going to bring some heavy rain to these areas. Kind of secondary or tertiary, if we call it, impacts will be felt through the Cayman Islands and Jamaica, where rain chances will begin to creep back up. Look, nothing excessive, but if you're looking for some rain for Black River and our friends in Port Maria and Port Antonio, back on over towards Linstead and Montego Bay and Lucy, we've got that better rain chance coming your way here over the next few days. Same thing for our friends in the Cayman Islands, where it's been relatively dry, but the winds have been up. We've had high sea advisories and warnings, just government dependent, the wording that they use for the Cayman Islands and Jamaica the last couple of days. And again, some of that moisture will stream back into the southeast sides of the Bahamas, the Turks and Caicos. Still looking for some good rain chances overall for Haiti, the Dominican Republic. Look, Puerto Rico's rain chances are pretty darn good the next several days. Same thing with the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, my friends in Anegada, and Rotown, Tortola, St. Thomas, and St. Croix, and St. John, and Guayama, and Fajardo, and San Juan. We're looking at 40, 50, maybe even a day or two, 60% chance for showers here over the next few days. These should be fairly fast moving showers, but the rain chance overall is going to be relatively impressive. Then you get closer to our frontal boundary and the rain stalls a bit and the excessive rain potential continues for the northern coastlines of Haiti and the Dominican Republic and even towards Grand Turk. I can't rule out some heavier rain trying to build to the north there as well. As far as an area with more fast-moving showers, that's going to be the Lesser Antilles. Our friends in Anguilla, and Antigua and Barbuda, and St. Martin and St. Barth, Saba, St. Eustatius, St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis. Scattered showers the next several days, but they're moving fast. I don't expect there to be widespread heavy rain, and it's the same situation for Guadeloupe and Dominique and Dominica as well. Again, relatively fair conditions, a little bit warmer here, but not bad. Marine advisories would still continue to be up here. We're going to have some pretty strong easterlies continuing for Barbados and Martinique and St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago as well. But rain chances each day, 30, 40%, and give it a couple of folks near 20. Scattered showers for Nueva Esparta. Now, I do expect there to be more rain building back into the ABC Islands. I think the NAM shows this just a little bit better. So I'm going to switch back over to this model. What's going to end up happening is we're actually going to get a little bit, oh, that's way too close, sorry about that. We're actually going to get a little pulse of energy here. You can almost see it spinning over Panama, but this should allow moisture to back build to the north and to the east. And as these easterlies begin to come in, do you notice that there's just a little bit more rain in this kind of swath in the southern Caribbean, right? And I think some of these showers have the opportunity to brush Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao over the next couple days, especially as we get towards, let's say, Friday and Saturday. I think that's where the better rain chances are going to be. But if you live in these areas, you've got that opportunity. That rain chance will be going back up. The GFS is just a little bit more prominent on that as well. But again, clearly, this is all spinning into this area here where we're going to have that potential for the excessive rain. So let's take a look at your rain chance island by island. Again, for my friends in Nassau and Bimini and Freeport and Lucaya, enjoy the cooler, drier weather. Get 68 degrees late this afternoon. Boy, that's pretty nice. Maybe you don't like it. Maybe you don't want to wear that sweater, but a lot of folks will be in the Bahamas. Still relatively dry central and southeast Bahamas as well. Turks and Caicos, slightly improving rain chance Saturday. Again, I still can't rule out a heavy shower trying to lift north, but generally speaking, it's more isolated than anything. Just scattered showers for Cuba. Cayman Islands rain chances begin to improve, right? Nothing outrageous at up to a 30% chance on Saturday. Belize City's rain chances will go higher. And again, that's about as far north as I'm worried about the heavier rain. But if you do live in Belize, we'll have to watch out for some excessive rainfall to start building into your area to go along with just good rain chances overall. Cancun and Cozumel, You're in the drier air, which means you're relatively dry over the next several days. Jamaica's rain chances, 20 to 30% chance. Look, again, it's not egregiously high, but some tropical downpours are possible in these areas to go along with some very breezy conditions. Going to put the 50% chance across the Dominican Republic. Now, let me be clear. Santo Domingo does not have as good of a rain chance as Puerto Plata. So the farther north you go in the island, the better the rain chance overall is going to be. Puerto Rico's rain chances, there you go, 60 tomorrow, 50 Friday, 60 on Saturday. U.S. and British Virgin Islands, 40 to a 50% chance. Bermuda with a couple of isolated showers possible, windy conditions there. And Anguilla, St. Kitts and Nevis, 30 to a 40% chance. I think the drier day is Friday, kind of in between two troughs coming through. So if you'll look at my rainfall forecast for the Lesser Antilles, you'll see decent rain chances Thursday through most of the islands, relatively isolated on Friday, a 20 to a 30% chance, and then back up to 30 to a 40 in some spots on Saturday. Speaking of 40, that's what I've got for Montserrat and Guadeloupe. Just a little bit drier in Barbados, but again, still a quick passing shower is not out of the question, but please watch out for some of the sea conditions as well. Again, check in with your local government, your local officials, but many areas issuing small craft advisories or swell advisories, just really rough sea conditions out there. Grenada, 20 to a 30% chance. Isolated and scattered showers for Trinidad and Tobago, Suriname and Guyana to a 30 to a 40% chance. Nueva Esparta, building rain chances through Saturday. You want to talk about building rain chances. 20 tomorrow, the ABC Islands, 30 on Friday. I've got a 60% chance for rain on Saturday. I hope it pans out. I hope you get some of that rain. Again, boaters, mariners in general, in the central and the western Caribbean, going to still be pretty rough out there the next several days, extending along that front back towards portions of the Atlantic just north of Dominican Republic, Haiti, and Puerto Rico. The easterlies continue in the Lesser Antilles. Strong north winds near gale watch, by the way, in effect for the Bahamas to go along with a small craft advisory. And of course, this time of the year, we get the cold fronts coming off the United States East Coast and through the Gulf of Mexico to help bring a blast of cooler, drier air, but also strong winds to kick up the surf and sea conditions. But the biggest concern I have is going to be the excessive rainfall potential. We'll look at the European model rainfall totals first over the next 7 days, all right? And again, you can see kind of starting on Monday, watch this tick back up Tuesday, Wednesday. Now look, north, this is going to be your impacts of any cold fronts coming in. Wedged in between is some relatively drier air for the Bahamas and Cuba. You get towards our frontal boundary, you can see some heavier rain, especially as it taps into the moisture in the Western Caribbean for Jamaica, southeast sides of the Cuba, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, portions of Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands. Not a ton of rain for the Lesser Antilles, but still quick passage showers. There's some of that little bit heavier rainfall towards the ABC Islands, but it is coastal again. Costa Rica, maybe down towards Panama, but certainly Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, and Belize right up here that we could have some excessive rain. Look, the highest number on this map is what? Over 16 inches of rain. That's significant, right? You know, that's more than 375 millimeters. I hope we don't get that much, but when I show you the GFS model, oh wait, oh man, I did put in, all right, hang on. All right, there it is. I flip-flopped these graphics. I knew I put in a second source here. We'll get back to that in just a second. But when I look at the GFS model, rainfall totals, oh please, let's see. Don't crap out on me in the last second here. Let's see here. Total precip, it may not work. Sometimes this happens. I'm going to take one quick second and do this. Again, I record this as if I'm live, so having a little bit of a screw up is fine, right? And it was funny because I was just looking at this right before I came on. Do you notice how as soon as I just restart it real quickly, it comes back up? This is how this thing works sometimes. So anyway, this is exactly what I wanted to show you. It's the GFS model over just the next 5 days. But can you clearly see this snake-like path that the heavier rain is going to follow right up the Caribbean coast of the countries that I just mentioned? And again, these are potentially excessive rainfall totals. Now, it is going to be razor-thin margin for Belize to whether you get in on this excessive rain. And I mean, Dangriga could get a lot of rain, and then Belize City and San Pedro could get very little. That could be the sharp cutoff we're talking about, but I am much more concerned for coastal Honduras, La Ceiba, and San Pedro Sula there, Utila and Roatan and Guanaja. Again, that's a lot of rain, but you know, the model here is even showing what, a little bit more than 6 inches of rain to even 7 inches of rain, a little bit south of there, just right along the immediate coast. And again, you follow the coastline and you're just going to be following rainfall totals that are going to be measured in, pretty high amounts. Same situation here again towards Panama and Costa Rica. But certainly right now the GFS says, hey, look, as this moisture bends back west, these are the areas that have the best potential for some of that excessive rainfall. Again, we could spin off some of this rain to the north and to the east, which means portions of Jamaica, especially the northeast side of the island, could get a few inches of rain. There's Port Antonio, Morant Bay, Kingston area. I would expect a little bit lower amount central on the western side. So Negril and Montego Bay, not as much rain as Kingston to the north and to the east. And again, some of that heavier rain right along the northern coastline of Haiti and the Dominican Republic. And the models aren't doing it as far as the actual amounts, but you get the idea where that swath of rain is going. Again, could skirt the Turks and the Caicos, mainly dry through the Bahamas, and then it's just more scattered rain here through the eastern Caribbean. Sure, there's pockets of heavier rain from time to time. A couple of spots could get more than an inch of rain, but in general, over the next several days, you get a quarter to a half inch, you know. That's about it. I would expect maybe 10 to 25 millimeters in most spots. Okay, that's what I wanted to show you. Now let's go here. Here's you can follow us across all social media. My Meteo Mundo on Instagram. You can find us on TikTok, X, Facebook as well. Appreciate you guys so much. Let me jump over here real quick. I am going to bring myself back on camera. For some reason, I kept this blank graphic here. So that's how we're going to end the video in just 1 second when I say I'll see you soon. Have a great rest of your day. Friends, take care. Roll the credits. Oh my goodness, where am I going here? Get me out of here. We'll see you soon right here at Meteo Mundo.